Hey everyone, and welcome to the Best of 3 Call of Duty Esports Podcast. I'm your host, Josh. SalvationsElite to my right is Bash_Bo3 Sam, and to our farthest right, per usual, is none other than the Rex, ShadyNero, and boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we're doing the first power rankings of Vanguard. Obviously, the game's been out for like, what, 2 weeks now or so? And so we're getting into it, getting our hands dirty, and going through these squads, some of their pros and cons, and things we want to see moving forward into the rest of this offseason before the kickoff of the CDL here in 2022. So we're going to be going through all that, the news of the week, of course, and there's a lot to talk about. Obviously, this is we took a week off. You know, it's the elephant in the room. We had a week off, so don't worry, everyone. You didn't miss an episode. It was just a week off. So we have a lot to get into today, obviously. First one in a long time, by the way. We hadn't taken a week off in 101 episodes, so, you know, it is what it is. But before we get into that, I got to ask, boys, what is going on?
Well, Josh, I am feeling like a new, reinvigorated, rejuvenated man today.
Oh, okay.
But then something happened.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
I've ordered a new beefy PC. And FedEx has refused to deliver it to me the past 2 days.
Believable.
And this is true. The first day, I'm waiting for my PC.
Okay.
And I'm at home. Like, I'm staying home all day. I want to make sure I get this. I live in New York. Things get crazy with the mail.
Yeah.
And I'm in the shower. And when I'm out of the shower, I'm in my towel. And I look out the window. And I see the FedEx truck. I'm like, oh, yes, my PC's here. I start going outside. And I see the FedEx truck
with your towel on. Wow.
Well, I changed and everything, but I see the FedEx truck driving away. And then I get a notification on my phone saying that they could not deliver my package. Meanwhile, I'm seeing the back of the FedEx truck. And meanwhile, my wife is also at home. They did not press the doorbell.
Losing full.
And then to top it all off, they didn't even leave like the notes that they leave on the door saying they missed you. They didn't even leave that.
Yeah.
The guy did not even get out of his truck to deliver my computer.
I can't believe it, man.
I was like, so I'm irked. I'm irked beyond belief. But okay, it's going to come the next day, which was yesterday. Again today, they do not ring the doorbell. They do not tell me. I've been home all day waiting for this. And this time they left a note. But they didn't ring the doorbell. They didn't even make any attempts.
And you didn't even offer him a towel this time. Like
nothing. And again, I didn't get it again today. And
so you're just losing full
now
over
I have
here.
my last chance to be there when they show up. Meanwhile, I've been here the whole time. All right, rant over.
Wow. I mean, I'm so used to these inspirational, imaginary stories that this like just vivid, real.
Well,
story was empowering.
I mean, it's visceral feelings I have for him. Sometimes you got to bring yourself back down to reality and realize,
of course,
get your things together.
And like, you know, like it like makes it worse when you have like a package is coming and it's like it's all you can think about. Like,
oh yeah,
for me, like,
100%.
I stuff like a kid on Christmas Day, where it's like I want this package, and it's like it's coming, and then to have it be denied to you for 2 days in a row. Oh.
And
rough.
and just especially since it's New York, just things can get real weird with deliveries and everything.
Yeah. So now you're getting worried, like, is it going to break on delivery or something like that?
Oh, that too. I just have this stress. I'm like, I hate having like things like a computer being shipped because like all the horror stories of things breaking, you don't know how they're going to handle the box.
Yeah.
And
I can't even imagine being a FedEx driver in New York. That's going to be like one of the most stressful things ever.
Driving a truck, like I've had to move in New York. And so I get like a U-Haul truck and it sucks because if there's no parking, which usually there's not, like you're just getting honked at. Meanwhile, you have all your stuff in the back of this U-Haul. Like I live right there. Like I don't want to go 2 blocks away.
Yeah. Literally.
That's insane.
Well, dang. I mean, this U-Haul truck took a deep, steep right turn. But hey, we're here, man. We made it. So obviously, you know, you can. Oh, I got it. You can listen on Apple Podcasts. You can listen on Spotify, and you can drop that comment on YouTube, that 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. And today we have a beautiful review. Sam, what do you got for us?
We do. So this one comes from Gengar's Curse.
Okay.
5-star review, of course.
Gengar's Curse. Is that like from? It's from Pokemon.
Pokemon, yeah. The OGs know that one. Best talk show. This podcast is perfect for everybody who loves the CDL. I discovered this podcast a few weeks ago on Spotify. Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
That's cool.
I've been wondering about the
I like
audio
that.
listeners.
And I'm in love. I have an hour and a half commute time to work. And
He's
you
in
guys have
love.
made my drive to work an absolute blast. The perfect picture of comedy and heated topics. Hearing the intros from Rex are always amazing. I am happy to find guys who love COD as much as I do and love talking specifics and stats among the pros. Just wanted to say thank you for making the drives not boring anymore. Looking forward to next week. P.S. The hype for Hydra is surreal. Easily going to be the
100%.
top 5 in next year with the support of his teammates and coaching staff.
100%.
He said he was looking forward to next week, and there wasn't one.
I know. I was like, oh,
that's
shoot.
tragic.
Sorry,
Brother,
Ghost
well,
Curse.
hopefully we made it up to him for reading the review in this
Yeah.
one. But we appreciate that, man. Appreciate you.
That's cool
hopefully
to hear. Like
Pokemon's
people
going
found
well.
it like on Spotify.
It
That's
is
pretty
cool. I like hearing about the audio listeners.
No, yeah. Well, Spotify's weird too because it's kind of hard to find new podcasts on Spotify. Like
It is.
you kind of get sent there by people you already
Mhm.
follow, for
Yeah.
podcasts. But
Yeah.
the search stuff on there is weird. So that's cool to hear people are finding it on Spotify. But
Yeah.
things you have to see, boys. Well, we appreciate all the reviews and the comments and everything else, the kind words. We're back at it again, baby. Things you love to see. And without further ado, boys, I think we can get right into the news of the week.
The Call of Duty News of the Week.
Welcome to this segment of News of the Week.
Oh, okay.
This time-
Ooh, nice.
We got some goodies for you. Challengers season is about to begin. They've released the dates for the tournaments for the Challengers Cups 1 through 4, December 4th, December 11th, January 8th, January 15th. They will all be online. For the Elite Series, have we gotten any news whether is it all going to be online? Is there any potential for the Elite Series maybe to hit LAN at least?
We don't know yet. It seems unlikely, but let's hope. But it's hard to know yet.
Yeah.
But at least they got the
Yeah.
schedule.
Yeah,
Ow.
I think I remember seeing something where it's like they may not even like have a possibility of landing challengers until like closer to champs time, which is
Which
pretty
in my
rough.
head that probably makes sense. Not makes sense, but you know what I mean. Like that's what I would assume would be the
Mhm.
case.
Like
just
slowly
with the
kind of
state
building
of stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just chaos right now. I mean, not to mention how much it's going on with Activision just itself with all the lawsuit stuff
Oh.
too. Goodness, man. So, no, yeah. I mean, I think the Challengers scene's gonna be interesting. These first few cups are gonna be crazy. Hopefully, we can do more talking about them and talk a little bit more about the amateur scene and some of the teams who are performing and leading into it a little bit in the future. But
It's weird too.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, they like the tweet says too. These dates are for. So what's cool too is they extended it into Latin America
Mhm.
too.
Yep.
But the tweet states these dates are for NA, EU, and Latin America, and APAC is yet to be announced. Like, why would they wait on APAC?
Definitely
question.
weird.
Yeah,
Definitely
well,
weird.
they have the Asia Pacific one, which that includes Australia, I think.
Yep.
And that's to be announced still.
So like I guess they like have it like there. It's just not announced yet for some reason, which is
Yeah.
weird to me. But
For sure. Definitely. I mean,
I
like,
don't know.
yeah, I mean, with that, I guess I'll just transition because we're already kind of here, but like because they also announced like obviously all the settings and everything for the AM scene. Because when you announce the event, you better have an official rule set, right?
Mhm.
And I don't know. I mean, like, it was just kind of interesting. Obviously, the biggest thing was that Desert Siege was going to be replacing, well, because obviously they were playing with a lot of different maps, but like our official S&D map set is now Tuscan, Bocage, Desert Siege, Berlin, Demyansk. And then Hardpoint is Tuscan, Bocage, Gavutu, and then Berlin and Desert Siege.
Mhm.
So thoughts on the maps?
Is that how you pronounce
What?
Bocage? Bocage?
I have no idea. Everyone's been saying Bocage.
I thought it was Bokage or something.
Bokage.
Wait,
Oh,
wait.
dude, no,
Bocage,
no.
Bocage.
You're hitting some Shotsy territory here.
You're hitting some very shotsy
I mean, it kind
territory.
of makes sense. Bocage? Is that what people are saying?
Dude, it's got to be Bocage. There's no way. It's
just, I don't know. I read it and just, that's
Do you
just
have
not
a
what it looks
problem
like
with
to me.
the English language? Well, it's
It
probably not
doesn't
English,
look
to be
like
honest.
Bocage to me.
let's just keep it Bocage for now.
What country is it from? And maybe we can identify.
No clue. I have no idea.
No, that's good.
But yeah, I don't know. How do you feel about Desert Siege? It's probably been the most talked about thing. I've seen a lot of pros been like, I know like Dashy said he wishes, or I think it was Dashy. Someone said that like he wanted Desert Siege to be replaced by oh my word, what's the other desert map called? I'm literally blanking on it right now. But the other desert map,
Oasis.
And Oasis. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then some people were like kind of disappointed with Desert Siege being in there, especially for Hardpoint. So I thought that was kind of interesting to me. What are your thoughts from like watching it so far, or like at all playing it, or anything along those lines?
I think the lines of sights on the like
wild.
outside lanes are pretty crazy. So like that's
Yeah.
that's why I could see them like, not wanting it. Like especially for like
I feel like the bomb sites, if they were switched a little bit, it could be like an epic S&D map.
Oh, see, like that. That's my point. Is like I think the S&D could be actually pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Our point might be a little bit weird on that map,
Right? Because I know RCD's tweeted he hates Desert Siege, and it's been interesting to see kind of the distaste. Obviously, people are hoping that London Docks gets added in here ASAP so we can replace maps, but like. I'm not convinced that Demyansk is better than Desert Siege and S&D though. I mean, Demyansk, I like Berlin, Bocage, and Tuscan like a lot in S&D. Like they're really, really fun. But Desert Siege and Demyansk, I don't know, man.
Am I the only one that likes Demyansk? I think it's a solid
It's
map.
fun. I liked it in like 2s and 3s, but I feel like in 4s it gets really clustery.
Gotcha. Yeah. I can see that too, honestly. Yeah. Because like 3s, playing a couple of the 3s, like that was a perfect map, but I could definitely see it being a little bit too crowded in, especially when you get into the church area.
My issue is like the stun strats on that map are like crazy. Like
I mean, just
you can stun everything and nade everything on Demyansk.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
The some of the restaurants
I saw
are crazy.
People just getting naded out and dying from like spawn, basically.
Dude,
crazy.
Because you can like stun the life out of B-bomb, and then like you're pushing it, and like it's just interesting. I mean, the meta for S&D is at least fun. Like I think it's cool, but like I don't know. Which map would you if so far off and just gut reaction? Well, hey, we don't even know how London Docks would play with squad spawns. I mean, like who knows?
It could be weird.
But like, which map do you feel like you'd rather see replaced? Would you agree Desert Siege and Hardpoint? What about S&D?
So like, Hardpoint, I'd probably, out of those 5, probably Desert Siege or Berlin. I guess I'm just like not the biggest fan of Berlin personally. Like the middle area of the map is just a little bit too, I don't even know how to describe it. Like with like
I am not a fan of Berlin. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Really?
I don't know. It's just like a weird map to me.
I love Berlin. I think it's a really fun map. Yeah.
Yeah. Berlin's the one that has like the fire in the middle, right?
Dark. Yep. It's the dark map with the fire, and then it's got the hotel and.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I feel like these maps, this COD, I mean, they're just a lot different, I feel like, than in previous CODs.
No,
like,
definitely.
There's so many more, like, places have 2 levels to them. There's a million lines of sights. I feel like every map, there's going to be lines of sights that are going to be like...
Yeah, I mean, they definitely feel more like Modern Warfare maps. It's like Ramaza, like top construction on Ramaza, like the only way up there was a ladder, like 3 box jumps, So this is kind of that stuff.
Yeah, and add in like the destructible environments too is a little bit weird, but
yeah, the destructible environments get crazy.
Yeah, for the most part,
they're like so many different lanes. Just
yeah. Like
I mean, Bocage Hardpoint is
it's crazy. I do like the general layout of most of these maps, but like circling back around to the question, what would you replace London Docks with for search?
Wait, replace London Docks or Desert Siege?
Or
no,
sorry,
if you're which map would you replace London Docks with?
Yeah, maybe Demyansk, honestly.
Yeah, I mean it's between Demyansk and Desert Siege for me.
Yeah,
and S&D.
Yeah,
it's probably Desert Siege. For
I do
me.
like Demyansk, but
okay,
I could see it being gone though for sure too. But yeah, for you, Desert Siege though for you,
probably Desert Siege for me. I think Desert Siege is just plays really weird. The placement of the bombs are
It's
kind
the
of
bomb
crazy.
sites. Yeah.
Yeah, Desert Siege middle map reminds me so much of Ramaza middle map. Just like
That's
the
fair.
crazy middle doors, you know, where just like so many times where like you rush in the middle and just get destroyed.
And then somebody
Like,
else
oh my
rushes
gosh.
out. Like,
Oh,
it's
for
just
sure.
like, yeah, it can get crazy. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think Tuscan, Bocage, and Berlin are like all really, really solid maps, especially in Search and Destroy. Hardpoint, still debatable with especially with like Bocage it's like you're playing, like the speed of the map is unreal.
It's
when you
crazy.
watch that map, it's like, they are flying. And playing
there's
it
so
is
much
like
going
feels
on.
like it feels like you're playing Shipment. Like, it's insane.
Oh, for sure.
Like
Like you're playing
how-
like Quake almost. Where just like the speed of it is just
Yeah.
insane. And it's like almost
crazy.
impossible too. To like, I was watching a Scrim where it's so hard to keep track of people who are possibly on the flank, especially with the squad
spawn
spawns this
and then
game.
But that's
just with the pace of the
case
game.
with all of them.
It's
all the maps,
crazy.
I feel
That like your brain has to be going 1,000 miles a minute. Where it's like you got to keep track of
the kill
everyone. Oh gosh,
Yeah. Which I think
It's-
makes
it's
it
gonna be
pretty epic.
interesting.
Well,
Like
okay.
it definitely increases the skill gap when it comes to like mental processing and positioning for
Mhm.
sure, at least at this point so far. But like it'll be interesting to see how the meta develops as teams figure out the squad spawns a little bit better, because like some of the spawns on Berlin can get kind of crazy there too, with holding a hill, but they can still spawn behind you if you don't have somebody like quite literally anchoring back there.
Mhm.
So it's like you might have to see some weird strats in the future with hardpoint, depending on how these spawns end up playing out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm most excited for with this new COD is that, like, I think just the way it's built, I think competitive COD is just going to have to look a little bit different.
Yeah, it's going to force some things. Yeah.
Well, like, we might be playing it how we just normally, like, understand COD for a little bit, but I think at some point there's going to be some, like, some sort of, I don't know, better word, but like revolutionaries out there who are going to discover
Like bigger
these-
meta shift.
Yeah, bigger meta shift on how to play through these maps that people haven't quite figured out yet. That's how
Yeah,
I feel
that's
about
fair.
it, because they just seem like so many crazy things can happen. And
Yeah,
there's just
agreed.
a lot more randomness that people haven't quite tuned into.
I think that's why it's going to be really, really important to watch these cups coming up here in December, because it's like those, obviously it's important every year to get a feel for like how are these best amateur teams really playing these hardpoint maps, but like then like really capitalizing and figuring out exactly how this year works with the spawns and how they're utilizing map positioning and things like that, because it'll be interesting. I mean, obviously if we're not having a pro tournament till potentially, middle January, then the AM team's going to reveal a lot about how this game plays.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you remember too, during the end of the Modern Warfare season, like Parasite tweeted out like Parasite like knew like certain spawns and like when they were going to occur,
Definitely.
like especially
He
on
had the squad spawn method in Modern
yeah.
Warfare.
So it's like if you're gonna get a guy like Parasite on your team where like he just like is able to figure that out.
Well, he hasn't figured it out yet.
Huge
either, by the
advantage.
way.
No, yeah, no.
If there is even a way to really figure it out.
Yeah, he's been. I know he's been down bad tweeting about this year. But yeah, like just saying though, like if you like crack that code,
Definitely,
quote unquote, be huge.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it definitely feels like teams have a way better like up on it than they did. I mean, obviously the beginning of Modern Warfare, where teams know like, okay, this is like Modern Warfare. If you get somebody to sneak out and they're in the right spot, we're gonna spawn there. Like it's just how it is. So it's like I said, like on I think it's what P4, the back left corner hill of Berlin. Literally, you can have 4 people in the hill, or even one person like outside of the hill behind it. And if you have the enemy teams back there, they will spawn back there. Like, it's really, really crazy.
I mean, it's like it makes it harder to like isolate. I feel like you really have to try and get your kills, I guess, fast as possible.
And then you have to maximize lines of sight and lanes. Yeah, because you have to be able to watch flanks and the players. And like we'll definitely talk about this, I'm sure, later. But like the players who, the major maniacs of the world who like dominated for squad, like going to finding squads for FaZe in Modern Warfare will probably love this. The envoys, those types of guys that like love getting out in the middle of nowhere of the map and make plays for their team to get spawns. Like those types of guys are going to be pretty advantageous this year for teams.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But,
GA
we can
list.
keep moving forward.
There's a new GA list out. Last year and the year before that, Europe and Ludi, who's a coach in the European amateur scene, is kind of the one who they put out a Google document about what's GA'd, how many pro points everybody has. It's pretty organized, which I respect. But
Definitely.
the newest GAs, and we don't have to go through them all unless we want to, but the newest ones as of today is Shrouded, which is the sniper proficiency attachment, and then snipers and respawn, which I think those are warranted.
Yeah,
GAs.
that's fair. Whatnot. Yeah, 100%.
I think it's weird to say no snipers and respawn because is there a world where you think a sniper would be more beneficial than...
if people can get weird with things, that's kind of how it goes. Like maybe in certain breaks you could use it. So it's better just to kind of have that rule,
right off the bat.
Just don't do it,
Yeah. So
I don't know.
And it's kind of interesting too. Like the EU specifically lists ATS as GA too. So it's like,
yeah, that's probably
right.
the biggest thing is how pros have decided that they're going to stick with GAs on ATS.
Well, the thing too with the ATS, from what we saw, I think it was Slasher said something. Yeah,
Slasher.
He tweeted. But it's apparently going to be restricted in the CDL setting. So pros and things, they won't even have the option to put auto.
Yeah, that's
on.
really interesting.
But what does that mean for challengers? And they're saying it might just be attached to the pros accounts, so none of that applies to challengers.
It won't be like an in-game setting. Yeah.
And most of us aren't going to be playing with that.
How do you feel about that? If it's on the pros accounts and not an in-game setting that you can actually enforce? It just feels weird to me. I think why not make it an official rule then?
You would think they would try to have some sort of continuity, something everything is similar, across all boards. Right? So it's weird. It's we have to all agree to not use ATS when how they will be playing if they make it to the pro scene is they just wouldn't have it at all.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to GA ATS if you can't ban it.
Yeah,
how do you know who's doing it?
That's my thing
sometimes
too.
You don't know for sure.
Just with it being a movement and kind of you can generally kind of see who's using it just by how jittery the player is. But I just don't understand why you're not just going to keep that in. When everyone's on the same playing field, what's the point?
Yeah, the ARs just hate it because of the third, right? Because right now they got 30 hertz servers, and so it's the cameraing can get pretty crazy. And obviously Modern Warfare at the beginning, I think it was 12 hertz, so it was really bad. Yeah. And then it went up to 60. So hopefully they bump this thing up to 60 officially. But yeah, that's one big thing is that the ARs just feel like they're getting cameraed like crazy on slide cancels. So at least getting rid of auto tag sprint makes it harder to slide cancel and camera, but the good players will still be able to do it. And then I don't know, I guess to me, it feels like a wash overall, but I understand the reasoning, and overall, if it creates a little bit more balance, then I guess it's fine. But
still, it's you got the top 48 players theoretically in the world. They're going to be they're going to do it.
They'll be cameraing you without it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The only difference is they're going to go through more controllers. So it's why are we not just saving our controllers and our thumbs,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Maybe it's just kind of I don't know. I think obviously, we're going to say Rex, fire away.
I was just going to go on I don't like GAs at all. And following COD, especially these past few years, I've never been a fan of GAs, and I think we should not have GAs and let the rules just decide for themselves. Let the league figure out things for themselves. And I feel
the league's been doing a tough job of it, though.
But we're not. But having us creating rules that we're just playing by, they're unspoken. I just it just feels.
I know what you mean. But wouldn't you rather? In an ideal world, whatever the pros.
No one's going to be using a rocket. Someone can use a rocket launcher and maybe they'll get a kill, but they're not going to be helpful in hardpoint if you're using a rocket launcher the whole time. There's just no helpful in that. There's nothing in that.
So it's a good thing they've already banned that in the rule set. So.
Well, I know they banned that, but even anything. It's just like usually the optimal way to play is probably going to be the optimal way to do it anyways.
I don't know. I mean, obviously there's just gonna be broken things like gammon bombs, they're broken. Like having 4 gammon bombs in S&D where you can like quad pre-nade and they literally explode on impact and you can't even react to them. Unlike Semtex's that at least like gave you a chance to run away.
Well, then let
like
the league do that. Like sometimes you need to give them a spur to fix their own thing instead of trying to fix it for them. That's my only issue.
But if they started to exist because the league didn't fix it originally. To be fair, like to your point though, the GAs predate the CDL. So like, you know, it was MLG who had to make the rule sets and they weren't as closely affiliated to Activision. So maybe it could be better now if the CDL is going to listen to the pros more. But like the Gammon Bomb stuff's tough where it's like, you know, it's broken overall, and like people would be running 4 gammon bombs, and like it'd be pretty toxic, like with pre-nades and stuff. So it's like, do we really want that? Or if we can GA it, we may as well GA it. So it's like,
no, keep it. Just keep it until they get rid of it. Because if they see that it's stupid and it's hurting and like it's just not entertaining, they're gonna get rid of it themselves. But like they don't have a reason to get rid of it if we're already just doing it already. Because they don't like, they're just like, well, you know, we'll just leave it. But if they can see that it's not helpful and it's not good, then they'll get rid of it themselves. Then
that's a lot of faith. That's a lot of faith.
And it just puts more onus on them to be more proactive. But we're doing the work for them, and I just feel like that's weird. That's my rant about that. Yeah. I know GAs are probably not going anywhere.
Yeah, best of both worlds would be like a committee of pros, or you know, whatever
that is directly like linked to working with the CDL. Yeah. Then whatever the CDL decides, then it's immediately changed in game in the competitive rule set. Like that would be the ideal world. But like the thing is that
I don't know. You'd have to get the right pros.
Yes, and
like there's plenty of pros, and like I think pretty much any GA that comes out is biased. It's somewhat of a selfish bias to it, obviously.
Generally, so, like, yeah. So, although I mean, like there's some things like, you know, do you really want to be able to like improve the rate of fire of SMGs when like they're already disgustingly good, or like increase the damage rounds on, you know, like these things that aren't banned in the official rule set that like they're broken, and like they create where you would literally have a 4 sub meta, you know, on a lot of maps.
Then let them figure it out. Do what is most optimal. If it looks super stupid, and maybe it will look super stupid at first, but they'll fix it if it does, and make them fix it. That's them a lot do of something. Faith. That's don't a lot do of faith. It for them. That's just how I feel. I just don't like how we decide to do it for them. And it's then more they never even comment about it. Like it's just like,
I just feel like the bigger thing is that we used to not, and then it just got to a point where they were fixing nothing. Therefore, we did it ourselves.
And yeah, I don't know. You never know what removing GAs could do to the game. Like it could drastically change how competitive CoD is played from as we know it and have known it for a long time, just because there might be some really interesting things that come out of it because people are free to use whatever they want to use. That's not against the rules. So like, and maybe that's not bad.
I mean, maybe it's an interesting take for sure. Like, it's just hard to see a future where there would never be GAs, you know?
Yeah, I always just go back to that clip.
I think we have to get to a point where the future is no GAs. To become a legitimized esport, I think you have to get to that point.
There's that clip on Das house with the shotgun. You guys see the clip where it's like the auto shotgun.
Yeah, but all shotguns are banned in the rule set. And if they weren't, then use them until they're like, okay, this is dumb. We'll make the rule. Because like they can make the rule like that. I can't imagine there's anything hard about making that a rule.
Yeah.
But like, you know, in an ideal world, you're making GAs hoping that those things will eventually be banned so that you have a more fair, balanced esport.
They can't even see how it plays.
Maybe, but
they're just gonna trust the word of like these other people who obviously have somewhat of a selfish intention. I guess we're kind of going in circles now.
Yeah.
All right, we're done.
Esports Drop your comments down below about what you guys think about GAs at this point. Let us know.
Esports Awards. Simp won Controller Player of the Year. This is his second Esport Award, I think. Right? Last year he was Console Player.
Honestly, couldn't tell you.
Didn't he get this before?
I think he was Console Player of the Year last year.
Okay.
What's the difference?
Wasn't he?
Oh, because I guess it was.
Controller now is because you can play controller on PC now.
Yeah. He got console probably in Black Ops 4, and then anyways, So that's cool. Congrats, Sim. You're a legend.
He's pretty good. Yeah,
he's pretty good. Still good in Vanguard from what I've seen. FaZe, they took away the Esports Team of the Year, which I think we can say is somewhat deserved, right?
Probably because of the old IPO drop. Yeesh.
I mean, that I'm sure helped their case and like earning it. It's more recent, and that's just kind of how these things go.
I think it was like the actual Team of the Year, not Organization of the Year. So
Esports Team of the Year.
Oh, like CoD.
So like
out of CoD
strictly CoD.
Yeah. So out of all esports, best team of all esports.
Yeesh. Okay,
pretty
that
awesome.
was actually insane.
100% though.
I was thinking like more.
Huge.
I was thinking more.
No, 100 Thieves won the Org of the Year.
Oh, duh. Okay,
yeah. Anyways, that's deserved for FaZe. Like they really did have a dominant roster. Like, and they comparing
went
apples and
34
oranges,
and 7
they still were just really dominant.
Yeah, and then this year too is going to be like. This year is going to be the heavy dynasty talk. If they if they start
if they win a few majors.
Oh yeah. It's for sure because we were already like questioning it last year.
100%.
And last but not least, in regards to the Esports Awards, Miles the Ross, the casting legend.
We love this.
Won play-by-play caster of the year.
Things we love to see, boys.
We were talking about this, that like there was a shift.
There was a moment in time where it was wait a second.
Yes,
Miles is the face
is
of
on
this
top.
league.
He is.
It's because he's so good. You can tell from the get-go that he was something special. Him and Chance.
I hope he stays on for the long haul with Call of Duty, and because he is phenomenal. Like his casting is just top tier.
100%. Yeah. 100%.
We have the Dashy versus Crim. Crim
a
did
little
not
bit of
put
drama.
Dashy in his top 5. He put Dashy, I think, at 24th on his list of
that's pretty crazy, man.
Best players, which are also captains for his 50,000 tournament that's coming up.
See, I think this like
Rex
he obviously had a very bad experience
with
Dashy when they teamed Black Ops 4. Like I get that.
Well, did you hear his reasoning though?
No, I didn't hear his full
reasoning. It was just like he says Dashy should be a top 5 player, but the way he plays is not, I guess, helpful to the team. Is somewhat what Crim is saying.
Again, but like I think that stems from him playing with him for Black Ops 4. Like it seems very heavily biased. There has to be at least
some sort of thing for sure.
Maybe a little bit, but I don't think he's just wrong. I think completely out of.
Well, that's what I want to say there is I feel like all of us agree that Dashy could and Crim said is that Dashy could be a top 5 player in the league.
Yes.
But he's not because of his positioning and how he plays around the map. And I'm like, okay, I mean, that's a fair take overall because I think he could be a top 5 player in the league as well. And it is some of that positioning and team play overall generally that ends up being the problem. But like, obviously, this also stems from the whole Dashy v Ben thing too, because Ben obviously shot the flank. No, for shout. Ben basically said the same thing about Dashy, and then Dashy was like, "Yo, what? Like, no chance."
He was going off on Ben,
roasting him. Yeah,
he was like, "Has this guy even dropped in on a map before?" Like all stuff. And
so Dashy, be nice to us, please.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But literally though, it's really interesting because you know me, I'm probably higher on Dashy than you two. Overall, especially Rex, on the past year and a half.
I echo the sentiments of echo the sentiments of Crim as well. I don't know if I'd put Dashy that low.
You wouldn't put him at 24 though. No way.
I don't think I'd put him that low down, but I understand the reasoning and I understand why he isn't top 5. And I agree with the points that I think Dashy is lacking at times.
Yeah, it was interesting because Crim basically said yo, when I looked at that team last year, Formal was exactly where I was a year before that. Like me and him had the same experience. I was like, very interesting. I mean,
wait, repeat that again. What?
Crim said him and Formal were in the exact same spot, but 1 year apart. Like he said, Formal had to put up a lot of crap and some stuff
with
like
Dashy.
That.
Got it.
Just with the teams, I think overall, but that's what Crim was saying at least. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I mean, obviously, I think Brandon could be so good. But once in a while, he does get a little ego chally. He does get he goes rogue a little bit too often, probably. And overall,
I like to call it hero mode.
it's just like it's more like, you know, it's just knowing when to go for that spawn versus when to wrap back to the hill and try to help your teammates. And like you might be trying to help your teammates. Like that might be the goal. Like I want to help my teammates. But just understanding that like, yo, my life's more valuable by pushing for this spawn or playing this angle. Like those types of conversations are hard. And obviously it's really broad talk, but like I think that's kind of where Crim was getting at, like overall positioning and playing for map control and things along those lines.
I mean, he's got Neptune above Dashy. Like, come on.
In Cold War, yeah.
Yeah, and that doesn't make sense to me, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, he was bodying him.
It's a spicy take.
He bodied him. The whole chat was like, where's Dashy? Where's Dashy? Where's Dashy? Where's Dashy? And he ended up at 24 behind Mac, Asim,
Illy,
Attached, Draza, Illy, Priesta, Neptune. So some himself, Crim 6 himself. So there's obviously a lot of guys where I think the average public fan would have definitely disagreed. So it is very spicy.
Yeah, I was like, the one thing I do want to say too is like with the whole Dashy versus Ben thing too is I don't agree with that sentiment. Like, cause you can tell he was very much like,
I didn't like how Dashy fought back though.
He said like, well, Ben basically was like never a pro. And like, so he has no room to talk, where it's like,
yeah, obviously we're biased, but
yes, like, you know, so like,
unless you were a pro, Sam.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know. You might have been a pro.
Who knows?
Is somebody tell me?
Advanced Warfare, I probably was, honestly. I'm just the god of Advanced 100%.
Warfare, but that battle, bro.
I just like
ASM1.
There is room for people like us to talk about Call of Duty because there is a mental aspect of it, like where it's like there's like a, you know how to play Call of Duty. Obviously, we aren't good enough to play and be a pro. I don't agree with sentiment that we can't say anything because of that reason. Like that's kind of like where what Dashy was getting down to was like.
Well, it depends what you're saying. Like, yes. I mean, I wish he would have fought back or would have came back with like some like evidence. Like, no, look at this point where I helped the team, or this point where I did this, and that would have been nice. But again, I think Dashy could literally be unbelievable. So
yeah.
So this year could be the year.
Yeah, I'm assuming it was just more like, Dashy heard what Ben said, and he got pissed off and then started ranting.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I mean, at the end of the day, it is his career on the line.
It is, yeah. So, but yeah, definitely some spicy stuff coming from Dashy Ben.
The old Dash man.
Yeah,
very spicy. But
so let's talk about trophy systems. So the creative directors of Vanguard, they did like a little stream and they did a little Q&A. Somebody asked about the possibility of adding a trophy system. They never came out and they essentially said that it's a maybe. They started with saying that it's not historically accurate.
Yeah, then they shifted to like kind of, well, maybe, possible.
They said, wait till like season 1 and like as time goes on, maybe they'll add it in. Which I kind of think they will.
So? I mean, obviously their hesitation is just like you want to smack your head against the wall because it's like you have red dots in the game and you have like all of these things. Like you can't just add in trophies. Like what's the negative? Like what's the downside to adding a trophy? I don't understand. Like
I want to find that Reddit post. That like long Reddit post about historical accuracy.
High quality.
It's so great. I love that. But yeah, there is no downside. I don't get it.
I don't.
Put it in there. Yeah, put it in there and then see if it works or not. You already have field upgrades of dead silence. Like that's historically accurate, where you can pop a dead silence in the middle of battle. Like what?
Yeah.
Well, what?
You can slide cancel. Like it's like, it's just all these things. You're like, okay, well, if we're really going to hang on this historical accuracy, this is not the time. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he didn't have another reason why. He just threw that in there historical accurate. But yeah.
And like the thing too is like we already have seen a competitive title, World War II, that was so nade and stun heavy. And like,
and it was insanely frustrating.
As like fun as that game was to me, I think
that was like
World
the worst
War II was
part.
a great competitive Call of Duty. it was ridiculous. Like the nade spam was like,
Spawn
we
up,
needed
throw
trophies. Throw nades like immediately. It's like we needed a trophy. So
100%.
I hope we can get trophies in here somehow, some way.
Yeah, that's definitely frustrating.
Otherwise, we're gonna have like a 2.
I mean, hard points are going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, we're
More
gonna
GAs,
have like
baby.
we're gonna have like a 1 stun, 2 grenade, 1 smoke thing where it's like you can't use more than 2 grenades per total team. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Also, I don't know if we mentioned this, but I don't think we're going to be using smokes in hardpoint as well. Or I should say
Yeah. That's part of the GAs, which I think
pros
that's
and
fair.
AMs.
I mean, like Bo Cage was toxic with smokes.
Mhm.
Oh my word, it was terrible. It was
Yeah.
just like, oh, I don't have control of the hill. Throw smoke. You know, like
Yeah.
in it. Like, you know, in Cold War they GA'd. I mean, like with trophies, it's still tough even with that. But like, my goodness, it was real
Mhm.
tough. But
Mm.
yeah, we'll see. I'm with you there on the trophies though.
So somewhat old news. Paris Legion did announce their roster. Fellow
did.
Temp, John, and Decimate.
No surprises there, but that's love to see it. You love to see the roster.
I do. Yeah.
Shout out
Mhm.
Paris.
Shout out Paris making moves.
And then also there's been some bloom changes with the new patch.
Thank goodness.
Essentially, you know, you're gonna be able to shoot straighter with all of the guns.
Your bullets
and
just
then
don't go in wherever they want. Like,
yeah, CDL Intel posted a image that was from the exclusive Ace, who did the work of creating those images and video, kind of telling you, you know, what it looks like post patch, where your bullets are going, and then pre patch where they're going. So that's pretty
Nice.
interesting. I think it's a good update because the blue was kind of crazy.
It was.
I mean,
yeah,
we'll see. So overall,
Another person in Challengers has decided to take a break from competing. It is the one and only Tom Gravity.
Man.
AR. He's been touted as one of the best ARs in the amateur scene
he's
since
been the
Black
next up
Ops
for like
4.
3 years.
Yeah.
It's insane, man.
So it's been really surprising that he hasn't gotten picked up, even just to be like any substitute or anything. But he says, now it sucks. This is what it's come to, but I'm going to need to take a break from competing in COD. I've been dealing with some extreme stomach pain that's been resulting in a whole slew of different issues. Going to try and sort out my health. Then he'll be back.
Get healthy,
So we're not
brother.
going to be seeing Tom Gravity at the beginning of Vanguard here, but hopefully we'll see him in the future, because if
I wanna
there's
see him
one
in the league.
person that deserves a spot, I think he's one of them. He's been one of the best ARs since Black Ops 4, and for some reason, everyone says he's great, but no one ever picks him up.
I know that.
And I don't
That's
hear like
gotta be
he's this like horrible personality or anything like that. I don't know.
That's got to be so mentally draining, being touted as one of the best ARs, but then never getting picked up.
And then having to continually prove it over year and year and
Yeah.
winning.
Yeah.
And winning. He's winning a lot. And he's got high average placings, but
Yeah. It's
so
crazy, man.
hopefully he finally gets his chance. So Zuma also leaked, we'll put this in quotes, leaked a DM. I'm unsure of if this is bait or not.
Yeah, it
but
happened right before we started recording, so it's like we're not having any clarity here yet, but it feels
so
baity.
What it says is like a text message between Zuma and Bance. Zuma says, "Ben, are you guys going back home for the holidays?" Bance says, "Well, I'm home, but as I got on my flight, they all changed their flights, so I don't know what's going on." Then he said, "Prob's getting dropped for Hixie." Zuma says, "Bro, what?
Actually, I think
they
it was
all
Asim's
did that
DM.
besides you and Mark? Oh, is it Ace?
Yeah,
oh,
Zuma.
maybe it's Asim's
It was
DM.
something that Zuma Asim had apparently sent to Zuma. That then he showed it on accident, supposedly.
Yeah, and then he said, "Yep." So maybe Bance getting dropped for Hixie, though I have my doubts. It would just seem weird for Ultra to make a change like that, especially when they were so successful already. I feel like it's bait.
My thought process is this move could make sense, but you don't do it before the season starts. Like to me, it seems you should keep this core 4, see what you can do for like the first two majors or whatever it's going to be, and then if like nothing changes from like getting second consistency, maybe you try to make a change to like go for first. But
That's
like,
fair.
when you're coming off of Cold War season being as successful as they were, obviously they didn't win as much as FaZe, but they were the second best team in the league by far.
Yeah, my only thought would be is if they're going to do it, you do it now before the cups. So like, if the timing of it makes at least sense there, where I guess what we need to do is watch Hixie from here on out and see if he gets announced by any rosters or if who he's playing with in the AM scene the next few weeks heading into the first cup. Because if he's getting picked up by the Toronto for the first stage, then he's not going to be playing in Kep 1. Like, cause why would you? So that would be the debate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm not so sure about it. I'm not convinced that's happening. But
I agree. We'll talk more about it next week if something else comes up.
And do you want to talk about like New York callouts on each map? I don't know if we have a visual, audio listeners, but basically there's a lot of words on the maps for all the callouts, and it kind of looks crazy when you look at it.
Well, JP Krez put it out. He's obviously the analyst for NYSL, and he put out it's cool. I thought it was cool that he put out a little screenshot of all the callouts that NYSL is using on the maps, which is I thought cool. Things you love to see. So with that said, boys, that means we're done with the news, which means we're heading into the first power rankings of Call of Duty Vanguard, baby.
Whoa,
so without further ado, boys, let's talk about who might just be the best in the game. Let's get it. Alrighty, baby, the best in the game. So we're going to be doing power rankings, basically just going, there's only 11 teams right now, obviously. So this is why it's the first one of Vanguard. I'm sure we'll do another one here when we get closer to the season, like in January or so, or maybe late December. We'll see what happens. But long story short, just based off of what we've seen so far from these teams, now knowing the meta of this game, and we're going to make a consensus list, actually, about the best, or, just 11 through 1 and going through
for us.
Yeah. Well, yeah, hopefully we get some consensus here. First thought, though, was that this league is freaking stacked, man.
Yes.
And with the metas, it just throws some wrenches in there, and it's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens. So with that said, I guess we can kind of pull up the power rankings here and go from here. Obviously, shout out to everybody who's watching on YouTube and everything else. So, can we all agree that Paris is at 11? That would be the one question off the rip here. Rex, who do you have at 11?
I have Paris at 11. There's nothing to go off of really for them.
We haven't seen enough of them. It's hard to say.
Yeah. Is there any talking points though for them? Like where it's like, hey, maybe they bump up into top 8 territory, I
think it's possible they could get there, but I think
through it, it's just hard because it feels like another year of putting together 4 people that are just kind of like maybe don't necessarily want to be there, but like they just kind of have to be there. I don't want to say like scraps because they're not scraps. These are all 4 players are individually talented. It just seems like it's a team that like
no pun intended.
It just yes. It's just the thing that just seems like they're just kind of like thrown together and maybe they don't have the best, like make up the best chemistry, the best, again, talent suited for each other. They're all veterans,
so there's always that upside chance that like things click for them and then like, they can get back to their original form. But like, obviously it's tough when you're the last team to get put together and we don't know the inner workings. And this is kind of how it went the last few years for Paris too. So it gets tough. When you're working through the narratives, I don't know. You have to bank on John being an elite player in a CDL. Like he has to be. So when you're banking on things that we haven't seen in, a few years, it's just tough because it's like, I hope it works. This is why I so badly wanted John to be paired with someone else. Like John at this point can't be put as the star slayer right away and be assumed to be the best he can be.
He needs to be paired with, maybe like you mean like a Bance to Kleenex situation, like that type of vibe. like somewhere like where he can like shine and do his thing, but like isn't required to be the Black Ops 3 Slayer that he was. So I don't know.
That's fair. No, I think that's really fair. So. All right. Yeah. So, okay. Now is where it gets interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of Paris, I don't know if there's another debatably guaranteed team that should be down here. Heading into this, I would say the Surge were the team that was like the next team up here probably.
Mhm.
But like, man, they've looked pretty good the last week or two, and from what we've seen from them, like in scrims, I'm tempted. I'm tempted by the Surge, but where do you guys feel like the Surge should be?
I have Surge at number 10 as well.
Okay.
Again, it's one of those situations where you're working off of not a lot of, like, I haven't really seen a lot of scrims. The scrims I've seen,
it's just
FaZe. They got 4-0'd by FaZe in the scrim. Again, it's not a lot of information. They have Sib, so
yeah,
from the clips
they-
I've seen,
he's looked nasty.
Yeah. One thing was interesting was they like the two scrims I saw were, so I think they played FaZe twice. They got 4 one time, but then they also got 3-2.
Yes,
so it's like they got 2 maps on FaZe before.
Mhm.
So
I mean, overall, like one thing I would want to bring up here, and we definitely talked about this before, was the meta in this game. I mean, like right now, having an elite flex is crucial. I mean, because you've got GRVTY freaking 3 AR meta, and then you have Bo3 with a 3 SMG meta. So it's like you really are. I mean, like unlike Cold War, where you just you ran 2 ARs. I mean, you could have Diamond Con and Clay on the same team, no problem. Like, you know, it's just like this game. Those flexes are crucial, and having a guy like Sib who is, I mean, about as naturally talented as he gets with both weapons, it's pretty interesting. And not to mention you have Mac as well. I think this team could be very interesting in the long term, but. It's hard to imagine that in stage 1 this team's going to click immediately.
Yeah, I was going to say I think what puts them down is their volatility at this point. Like yes, they gave 2 maps, or they took 2 maps off of FaZe in a scrim, but then they got 4-0'd by FaZe, and you can see this team where it's like they could like literally at one point just click and destroy, or they could just fall apart because of how newly formed, or like
how fresh.
I mean, they have 2 rookies. You know, like things are going to be tough sometimes. They have 2 rookies, and then Mac, who's in his 2.5 year, second year, sort of.
Yeah,
so coming up on his 2nd year.
My thoughts are, their ceiling is very high. However, I think their volatility kills them right now. But that's just natural. I don't think that's because they're in a bad place.
I mean, that's the thing, though. It's like I actually feel good about this team, and like they might be at 10.
Yeah.
You know, like
agree.
that's how stacked this league is right now.
Like, I'm not confident that Surge is going to be like a 10th place team. Like, they could be better. Mutineers, Ravens, LAG. Like, you just, it's hard to tell with them, but since they are so fresh and so volatile, you gotta just put them at a 10 for now, I would think.
That's fair. Yep. I'm okay with going 10 here with Surge, but man, they get me more and more excited. The more I really want to watch them more. I can't wait to watch them more.
This has got to be like the overall league dark horse.
Yeah,
at the beginning,
nobody cares about them. Like nobody likes them. Like they don't have like any like inherent fan base. At least it feels like I haven't really been seeing much of it. But like I think this team could be really fun. So I'm kind of becoming a Surge fan just because they're just such an underdog story. But all right, moving forward. Number 9.
I have a hot take here.
I'll nominate. Okay. Oh, all right. Never mind. You lead the way.
Maybe it's, I don't know. Like, you know, depending on who you're going to nominate.
Who you're talking to, you know?
Florida.
That's what I have, Sam.
Do you really?
I do.
Wow. Really?
Josh, I know Skies is your guy. I know that.
I mean, again, they're in the same spot with Surge. Well, similar spot with Surge. Where like there's just a lot of question marks with the team.
Yes. Yeah. Do you see Vivid being that guy?
Vivid and Awakening, they could be those guys though, right?
But are they? Is the question
that's why I get too excited. I get excited about the Surge. I get excited about Florida because of the unknown upside. It gets me really excited.
Yeah. I think Awakening could be insane here because like you're talking about too is you're talking about good flex, right? Like, you know, we've seen Awakening run SMG, we've seen Awakening run running AR. So I think that is where their upside is Awakening being that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But Vivid and Dave, I just like
we've seen the potential of Dave, and like
we have.
I mean, hearing like in my talk with Standy, like hearing him talk about how highly he thought of Dave and like the comms and leadership that he can bring to a team, it got me really, really excited about this roster. But again, you know, well, there's same issues still having the but like having the pair of Skies and Awakening again, like. We know that Vivid had some problems with going rogue once in a while, and we knew Awakening had problems with going rogue once in a while, and it hadn't really clicked with Skies and Awakening since they went on their tear in MW. But to be fair, they did go on a tear in MW, and this game is as close as you're going to get to MW. Like, you know, it is interesting. Obviously, it's 4v4 now. Things are a little bit different, but something, I mean, like Bo3 about as mixy of a map as it gets. Like, I could see them working out on a map like that with this type of squad, but
definitely.
Maybe Dave will surprise me. But the reason I have him there, like there's no pizzazz to it that I'm really feeling like I do with some of the other teams. Like even Ravens, like they have Afro, and I think most consensus like Afro looks pretty good, even though their team is losing. Whereas Mutineers, like it just wasn't the same. I guess you have like the Awakening thing, but I don't know, there's just something. I think maybe Dave will surprise.
It's gonna need to be Big Wake going huge, and then also I think Vivid is gonna have to play a crucial role. You know, obviously with like how he runs his sub.
He never found that fully consistent form with Empire, especially in stage 5 heading into champs. Like we saw the flashes of it in stage 4 where there was moments where in respawn, you're like, holy crap, this Dallas team's going to be unbelievable by the end of the season if they keep this up. Like, but then Vivid never got back to that like stage 4 LAN vibe and was just continually inconsistent in respawn, which is always the worst because we know Vivid's a good S&D player. We know that. And so maybe that'll help. I think that can help Florida a lot too, is that, you know, you're bringing in a guy who I really, really like in S&D and how he plays, and you pair him with this team, it can make them a really fun S&D team too. So that's why I see the narratives, I see the potential, but it's tough with them. I mean, for me, it's between them and London for 8 and 9 here, which I'd be interested to see if you guys have London higher, which I know you guys are high on London, but like, I'm okay with Florida at 9, but I prefer them at 8. Thoughts?
Let's put him at 9.
See,
it's just hard to tell, and honestly, it's just like not a lot of scrim knowledge like that I can recall where I could really see them play.
I mean, yeah, we're showing a gameplay right now of them playing against.
It's gonna be hard for me though too because I have London high because of I see the storyline of London, so it's kind of like similar to like, you know, Josh, where like, you know, you see storyline of Florida, but like. I don't know. Like,
well, I mean, I see the storyline of London. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, for sure. But like, I'm like all in on London because
you're putting all your chips on the table.
I am. So I don't even know if I want to put London at 8. You know,
we've seen Skies like. Not only that, but like this game's really like so far with ARs, we've seen like ARs really have to rely on picking up an SMG when they get a kill and like using that SMG because like. Quite literally, you kind of have to sometimes, you know, like, and Skies is fantastic with the SMG in hand. We've seen him, like, we literally, I think, went like on like a 5 or 10 streak on Checkmate with like the 74U. We've seen him do some really nasty things with a SMG in hand. So I just think that this team on paper makes a lot of sense. But then the X factors come into play, like, all right, you know, does Vivid play style fit with Awakenings? Can they actually play together? Are they going to go rogue? Can they figure this out as a team? Those are question marks that are there. So that's fair. But I think London has those same question marks. So in my mind, they're pretty interchangeable, 8, 9.
Yeah.
But.
So let's talk about London then.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, maybe we don't get a
convince me.
So my thing with London is I think Afro is that star player that
like
maybe
he's just
Florida that Florida doesn't quite have. Like, you know, like
Like you think that Afro could be like that top 10 transcendent talent?
Yes. Yeah, I truly believe that because like we've seen there, it's been a common occurrence that teams that have a dominant sub have seen success. I think Afro can be that. I think we saw glimpses of it in Cold War, even with a volatile roster, with the amount of changes that we saw. And I think that's fair to say for Afro, where like that was an impressive feat, from him.
You're still banking on two guys we haven't seen in the CDL before. Nasty and Gizmo.
So that's the thing is,
I mean, you can debate that this team is the same thing as Seattle. Like,
Surge.
You have one veteran, and then you have one guy who's played 1.5 seasons, which Afro's played one, and then you have two rookies. Obviously Sib and Pred, and now Gizmo and a Nasty here.
Yeah.
So,
I guess
that's why I tend to give the benefit of the doubt to the established guys like a Vivid that we've seen do it on LAN, and like we've seen guys in Awakening dominate online in a Modern Warfare engine.
The thing is, I feel like it's kind of rare for rookies to come in and not be so great. I think most of the time people think they're pretty good.
Well, then how good's Florida if Dave's really good?
Florida, I'm not like Dave could be really good, but we kind of already know what we're getting with the other ones. And like, how much better will Dave need to be to, I don't know. In other words, kind of like,
I get what you're saying. You guys are looking for a top 10 talent on Florida. Like, that's what you're looking for. You're like, who's going to be the top 10 player on Florida? Because like, you kind of have to have at least one of those guys if you want to be, a top 4, top 5, top 6 team, I guess. But like, I guess I'm more arguing that they have the chance to be 7th or 6th. Like I don't know if they, right now at least, if they have the top 3 potential, top 4 potential, but I could see them getting to that competitive point. But
and I think they also have like this natural chemistry that's gonna come with it, seeing as like they're all European, and then you got Nasty, Gizmo, Afro, which they all were together in the challenger scene over there, and all of them were very highly regarded in that amateur scene. And then you have Zero, who's a veteran who has stepped out or who wasn't part of Cold War. And I'm not confident in what we're going to be seeing out of Zero. He could be great, or maybe he could be lackluster. I'm not sure.
We know he's a good teammate, though.
Well, I'll admit to it.
Teammate is his key assets, honestly, to me.
Part of my thought process too is seeing Zero when he did play in Cold War for that brief moment was like, okay, like he is still a top player. Like that like first initial, albeit it was the first matches where even Florida beat FaZe, right? so it's like, that could have been skewed, but I guess it gave me confidence that like Zero is still there. Like he is still able and is still at that high level performance.
He can be elite.
Yeah. But like kind of like you're saying though, Josh, like this is a very much, I'm looking at all the positive for each player and putting it all together for this London squad. So there is a huge possibility that Gizmo and Nasty do not pan out. It just is a possibility, and maybe Afro isn't playing as well as he did in Cold War either. So like there is question marks still, which could be a reason why we put them at 9th or 8th. So I guess that's the debate between them and Florida. That is.
That's fair.
I think I would rather put Ravens at 8 than 9.
All right. Well, it sounds like I'm outmatched here, so I'll go with the 9 here. I'll go with 9 here. With Florida. With the Ravens.
It's just the upside potential is it's too desirable with like Ravens to ignore. Like you have to acknowledge there's a lot of like unseen potential that could possibly be there. And there's a good chance of this like high potential.
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, again, I don't doubt Afro. I mean, I thought Afro was unbelievable in Cold War throughout his whole time. But like, again, obviously, Alex wasn't playing well and there's question marks there, but like, it didn't really translate to wins.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then it's like the question mark: will they be able to get over that hump here and start winning some games?
That's probably a fair point where was almost like guaranteed that Afro looked good because of who he was playing with. You know,
he's definitely an above average talent, but like because of the situation, was he guaranteed to look great? I don't know.
Yes.
Maybe not. Though you could argue that being on a bad team obviously makes you worse because then you're put in some tough spots and bad spawns and things like that. So,
well, yeah, you can look at Vivid when they were on LAG, and Vivid, like we knew Vivid was better, but we were like, none of us were like, oh, he's like this godly type player.
For sure. That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's do like kind of like the 7-6-5 conversation here. So this is, I mean, it feels like there's 7 locked and loaded title contenders.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you can go wrong with LAG or Rokkr or LA Thieves or NYSL, OpTic, Toronto, or FaZe. Like anyone in that order, like you could move them around, mix them around, but like those guys are like, wow, they are legit title contenders with those 7.
It's going to be extremely hard.
It's crazy. So who do you want to disrespect first?
Let's do LAG.
Really?
Wow.
I was kind of thinking Thieves.
I mean, I have them next to each other. I'm okay with talking about Thieves too.
Do you?
Interesting. Spicy.
So should we talk about?
I'm leaning LAG. Let's talk about LAG first.
Okay.
Rex, what are your concerns?
Okay, so with LAG, they have the right.
Why do you hate LAG?
I don't hate LAG.
Why do you literally?
Why do you want them to be last in the league?
Why do you hate Kronk Esports? Like, come on.
I don't. I mean, they got the bag. I respect that.
Oh, 100%.
But just with the team, I think they will be better than they ever have been. How they're going to be able to like mesh everything together, and I don't really know for sure how Slasher, Gunless, ASIM, and Hook, how they're all 4 are going to be playing together as a unit. We kind of know how Slasher and Gunless can play together. Then there's the ASIM and Hook question as well. Right. And it just is a weird dynamic from an outside perspective. Looking at it, it just looks weird to me.
Well, it's definitely weird because it's like, and like not only that, but like ASIM and Gunless were the ones that wanted to play together off the rip. Like they were like kind of a duo head in Roster Mania. So it's like, it's interesting that like those 2 guys were the ones that were like, all right, we want to play together. And then, Hook was the foundation for LAG, and then it kind of all came together that way. So it's like,
it feels.
I agree. I agree with you that it's just like there's a lot. It feels
similar
here
to what Surge kind of did with their roster last year, where like they're all kind of like they got their buddies up, their friends, and they go and they have Octane, and then they have Moon and such. Where it's like the difference here, I guess you could say.
But you have Slaying upside.
They're getting an upgrade. Yeah, they're getting the Slaying upgrade for sure with Hook and ASIM, I think.
I don't think you can compare this team to Surge. This is like a whole new.
It's a whole new thing.
I think the vibes of it, though. Again, I think the vibes of it are.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. I guess.
I think this can be a top 6 team, guys. I really do.
They could be.
They definitely could be.
This team makes so much sense. It's the roles for me that like really.
Ooh.
Like they killed it. The roles.
Kind of like this is like the Texas Roadhouse of the CoD League.
This is like the Texas
the
Roadhouse
for you, baby,
with the cinnamon butter for me. This is what this is.
Don't you think the play styles just look like they're just like with all the players, like the play styles just seem
I'm a little bit nervous
wacky
about the ASIM Hook combo.
I don't know.
That's my biggest question.
I'm nervous about all of it, kind of.
I don't know. Here's my.
It could work, but
I can see it imploding. That's the biggest like thing.
What do you call that? Here's my like. What's the law term? Here's my.
Your defendant. Your
defense.
Here's my. Yeah. Your defense. Your defense.
Here's my gavel. There. Yeah. There you go. So.
Order. We shall have order.
So, this team makes so much sense when it comes to roles, right? Obviously, you got Slasher, the heavy mania anchor. You have Gunless,
the heavy man AR, huh? Now we're gonna bring weight into this.
no, he's a slim man now.
He is, man. He looks good.
He looks
I'm
real
jealous.
good. Gunless is, I think, either one or
The key
two
here.
flex. Flex.
Okay,
is,
that would be your argument. It's the flex
Yes.
argument that
Yes,
Gunless can do it all.
when you have someone like Gunless in this type of game that can do it all, I think that's going to be just a ginormous advantage to your team. Like you're gonna be able to run whatever you need on any map. So right then and there, that's gonna be huge. And then I'm actually honestly excited about the Hugh Asen duo. I think these two can honestly work really well together. I think Asim is going to be the one that's going to take kind of like your main SMG job, but then you're going to have Hookbeat like try to do his
Hook's gonna be the Slayer.
his like route slayer thing, kind of go on its own.
Create
but
map control.
Yeah, I think that can work here. I think it can really do something huge for for this team. I think Asim is okay playing that role, like truly well.
Interesting.
And then to wrap it all together, you have like the
general.
not only the like general of Slasher and Gunless, but you see passion here. Like this
Well, they
this team
definitely have.
oozes
This is a passion squad for sure.
That's
They
what
need
we
it.
saw with Surge.
Surge, you think they're
They
equal
were
in
a passion squad.
There was a little bit of that narrative heading into the year. I agree with that.
About Surge last year with their squad.
I think it's like different. Like Surge was more
It
like
does
a
feel
hope
different.
passion. Surge was more like grasping at straws. This is like each individual player is down to grind.
I see the potential here more than I did with Surge last year for sure. But
I definitely see more potential than Surge last year. That's why I have him higher up.
So that is my defense is why they should not be where we're at 7.
I think 7.
Yeah, 7.
I think they should be higher.
Ah, man, it's tough for me. It's between Rokkr and LAG, and then
That's what I have too.
So I would go LAG, Rokkr, LA Thieves. That would be my order.
Wow,
here.
you have Rokkr down there, huh?
Rokkr at 6.
Mm.
So LAG at 7, Rokkr at 6, LA Thieves at 5 would be my bet. We could talk more about LA Thieves and Rokkr here, I guess. But Rex, I'm down to go LAG at 7 here. And throw Sam under the bus. Well,
Okay. What if we talk about Thieves first?
Okay, let's talk about Thieves
Or
before we place
Rokkr.
anybody. Or
What do you wanna
Rokkr.
do?
I'm okay with talking about Rokkr. Rokkr seemed a little.
I just don't want to
iffy.
put. I don't want to put gorillas yet. I'm just trying to. I'm trying to delay the inevitable here.
that's fair. That's fair. Okay, well, give me the argument of who do you have behind Rokkr, Sam?
Or do you mean?
Sorry, LAG. Yeah.
Rokkr.
Yeah. Okay, so give me the Rokkr v LAG argument here.
Okay, so with Rokkr, I wish there would have been a change from last year.
Interesting.
Which might seem kind of dumb, considering how they ended the year, like on top. But so here are my things with Rokkr. I don't know if I see Priesta and Attach really major, like those three.
Are you just looking for the combined major, like slaying upside?
Yeah, like Stanley, no doubt, is going to be phenomenal. He's going to do great.
I mean, man.
Do you see Priesta getting back to form? Like truly?
I mean, they have the guy who lives for this type of game though. Major Maniac loves this. Like he loves this ratty playing like on rotations, hitting weird routes. Like he loves that. And then I mean, Priesta was. I've only been impressed with Priesta from what I've been seeing, and and he's another true flex guy who can play both ways.
That's
like,
true.
In my head, you have the guaranteed chemistry. This team's going to be locked and loaded in Search and Destroy this season. I love this team in SC this year. And then they have the chemistry from last year. The slaying upside. And I think Standy could still get better. Like Standy could still improve. I in my head, like this team has untapped upside with a game that I think is even more built for them. And overall, that's why I feel like I give them a tiebreaker over LAG. But that's why I think all 7 of these teams have legit like championship upside because of how the game, and not to mention right now we only have Hardpoint and S&D. We didn't even talk about that. We forgot to mention that in the news, but
True.
Only Hardpoint and S&D right now. Like you're playing a lot of COD. It's gonna be interesting. I think overall I give the slight tiebreaker to Rokkr over LAG because of the chemistry and then the S&D upside with this team. I think that Rokkr could be a really, really good S&D team.
I suppose when you have like Priesta not being locked to kind of where he was last year, and like, you know, maybe more.
You can utilize him as an SMG now. Yeah.
Yes.
I honestly think LAN
change.
is going to be a big difference for them too. Like I think they'll get better on LAN.
Well, they definitely played their best at LAN.
They did.
In Cold War.
I think they just need that LAN environment to get their juices flowing.
And when it comes to fandom, they definitely have an advantage in fandom over a lot of teams. I mean, people love the Rokkr. So, that's my argument for Rokkr over LAG.
I'm Rokkr over LAG.
All right, Sam, it's Rokkr over LAG.
Yeah. It happened. I get it.
LAG
I get
at
it.
7, Rokkr at 6 then, or is there any argument to that?
Well, do we want to talk about LA Thieves? So let's put LAG at 7 and let's talk LA Thieves and Rokkr.
And Rokkr? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Thoughts? Fire away.
Do you have, I mean, Thieves is another team where they have the right makeup, I think. And this, you know, they have Octane and Envoy, which are like two star-studded talents with Draza, who me and Bash think is great.
just
Hey, whoa. Hey now, I think he's fantastic. All right. Let's not get things twisted here, okay?
Mm-hmm. And then you have Kenny, who also was showing really great things.
Oh, he's great, yeah.
And I think them just like, but there's not a lot of info like in regards to scrims and VODs that I've seen at all to really know for sure how they're playing together.
Yeah, I mean, Octane's posted a little bit, but like, yeah.
I was gonna say, you know what's interesting is Octane isn't posting anything.
No, he's been grinding.
But is it weird that he's not like posting stuff on YouTube?
I think
like,
it's because he doesn't know what to. Nah, never mind.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I don't know.
I didn't know like would you see that as a sign of like
They're getting fried.
concerned or something like that? Yeah.
There's no good gameplays to post. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I mean, all signs point to this team figuring things out like as the year goes on, though. I really, really like this team. And again, with the meta right now, I'm going to keep emphasizing it. Having guys who are flexible, like right now with having Kenny and Draws and be able to work with that, I think is an advantage in this meta in the long term. My worry's always been with this team is Search and Destroy and how that's going to play out. But seeing this game, I mean, if there's ever going to be a game where Envoy is absolutely nasty at Search and Destroy, this is going to be the game with smokes and hitting weird routes and playing flanks and working the flanks like he loves to do. This game's going to have a lot of opportunities for that. And that's why I feel like overall, then you pair that with the slaying upside and respawn of a guy like Octane with Kenny and Draza. I think the team has a lot of upside, but the consistency is going to be my problem here early on in the season. And this is the type of team that if they stick things out and really grind this thing, I think they could be nasty by the middle of the year. But if we're doing power rankings for like kind of like right now, heading into the beginning of the year, I'd rather have them at 5. So Rokkr 6, LA Thieves 5 would be
I'm okay with that, honestly.
Joust.
Yeah, no, yeah. I would say I do, obviously, as a huge Draza fan, and then also Envoy too. You know, like kind of, you know what you're saying, like what we saw in Modern Warfare from Envoy. I think we can see the same thing with that here in Vanguard. So I would probably take Thieves over Rokkr right now, just with the more question marks coming with Rokkr. And I think
you just believe the
established.
upside in respawn with LA Thieves. Like those 4 guys, they should be great in respawn.
They should be, yes.
They should be great.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So
that's always the thing is it should be, but will they?
Right. So you go with Rokkr 6, just and LAT 5?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or Thieves, you mean 5?
Or LA, that's what I said, LAT?
You said G,
LA
I think.
Thieves. Oh, you said mine said LAG. Doesn't matter. LA Thieves.
All right, anyway, long story short, now we're in the top 4, baby. NYSL, OpTic, Toronto, and FaZe. How do you order these 4, baby?
Gosh.
I'm putting NYSL at number 4.
Really?
I know.
Rex,
Shocker.
calm
Shocker.
down over there. Unbelievable. I can't believe this. You should get fired from your fandom.
It really comes down to like looking at this OpTic squad, and I think the OpTic squad, I think this could be OpTic's year. Like this, I think they have put together something really, really nice over there with that squadron of 4.
It feels good. It
does
definitely
feel really
feels
good.
good.
And the way they're playing scrims with the coaching of Rambo and Sender, like they could win champs, in my opinion. Like they look like a good team that is going to be able to work things out better and more unified. Like it all just seems like it just seems all correct.
Rambo just seems like a really good coach, you know?
He's the best. 100%.
Honestly, yeah, I love Rambo. And I like the coaching series and things that he like posts that on Twitch. I think those are super, super fun.
100%. So my biggest question mark with the top 4 here is Toronto and what we are expecting from this team. Especially, I mean, I'm just going to assume that the Bance stuff's false, but like, still weird. Either way, like,
I don't think it's happening.
I mean, Toronto could be unbelievable.
Well,
Toronto, this could be the year where Toronto, I mean, this could be Toronto's the best team in the CDL.
yeah.
Well, even their scrims are showing that Ultra
I was going to say, like,
looking pretty good.
We know scrims are scrims, but Ultra have been kind of frying in scrims.
They've looked great. Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. Like, at this point, there's no reason to doubt that they can't be great. And they played pretty solid in the tournaments that they played in the S&D stuff with how they've all looked. And overall, I think they're still legit. But
I agree.
I'm still a little bit more nervous, and I feel like I should be for them to be a top 3 team.
For Ultra, you mean?
Yeah, for Ultra.
Oh, okay.
But why? What signs are pointing you in that direction?
That's the thing. I don't know. It's more of like a feeling than it is like, I agree with you. The signs and everything pointed them to being top 2. I still have them at 2. But it's more that I feel like I'm a little bit more nervous than I should be. You know,
I sincerely hope that the 4, including Bance, make it as like a top, like beat
FaZe. They win.
Yes,
yeah.
Because
I agree.
Truly, they deserve it, and the just sheer
and the willingness to stick it out, like
and
stay together, and
I don't even like know what I'm trying to say, but just like. Just the teamwork on that team is incredible.
It's
obviously FaZe is FaZe, but Ultra was like the most like they didn't seem like that like it should be possible, but then it happened and it was like what in the world and
with the consistency that they have,
just phenomenal.
It's cool to show that like the teamwork and putting the right pieces together. I mean, like obviously FaZe plays incredibly great teamwork COD. If they didn't, they wouldn't be the best team in the game.
Yeah,
but like. Toronto, with the pieces they had, we weren't sure what it would be like, but seeing Bance do what he's done and like everything like that with how they played as a squad gets you really excited for any team. If they can figure out how to play together as a unit, then they can be the Toronto of this season, which is why I want to see Toronto be great again, is because obviously Cammy's a freaky natural talent and Kleenex can still fry, and like obviously Insight changed the game as well. But like overall, good to see. I think it's overall good to see. Long story short, should I just spill the beans? My top 4 would be NYSL, OpTic, Toronto, FaZe.
That's what I have as well.
That's what I have.
Oh my word, we all agree.
I think that's pretty clear.
It's hard, because it's like one of those things where are you really gonna like? Is anyone gonna like disagree with the FaZe Toronto 1-2? Right?
I mean, at this point, there's no argument against it.
It's kind of hard. So then I think like the main debate becomes New York versus OpTic, which is like super good debate because both teams are going to be incredible, I think. But man, is it hard to deny what we've seen so far from that OpTic squad? It is hard to deny.
It's hard
that,
to deny what we see from the NYSL team, though. They've looked very, very good.
They have looked good, yes.
And that's why they're top 14.
The NYSL team, though, is that they are bringing in like this somewhat
there's more variables.
Crim 6. Then they have Neptune now on the squad,
and
it seems like with this team, I think even happened last year, is like they are like a back against the wall sort of underdog style of team which is really good to bring that initial energy into your match. And like, that's how you can win games that maybe no one predicts you winning, and they can do that. But we also saw the amount of like
the burnout
stress. Yeah. The burnout must have been insane. I mean, even Clay even took a break because of it.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like, it's not sustainable. Like, you have to hit a point where like you can just be consistently good, and you don't have to worry about match. Like, you need to be able, like, we just need to play, I don't know, their game and know that it's going to be super competitive against everybody else. But it feels like sometimes going to a match, it's like they are adaptable, which is a good thing, but it also they have to try and match what the opponent is doing and then try and do something creative to beat them.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to rely on strategy for sure. Like, I mean, like, and you want to rely on team play, but I think like everything's there for this team to be fundamentally sound. But then also you have the SMG slaying upside with this team with Hydra and Neptune, and like, I mean, it's a championship formula. Like, it's a championship formula. They're built to win. And
I just hope they hit a level of ease with winning. Like, because that's how
true.
You're going to win champs, where it's like last year, that's just like, it wasn't with ease, like anything practically. It's like, man, like there's never like gimme matches almost, it feels like.
Oh, no, definitely not. And
whereas
I don't know if I see that this year
match.
either. But I mean, obviously, FaZe was this kind of on its own planet last year, so we'll see what happens this year. But
yeah, and then there's Ultra, and like I think OpTic now has found a team that they can have sort of this mainstay like strategy and consistency that's just, it's going to be strong no matter what they do.
I agree. I think the fundamental with this team is you can rely on the S&D in this squad, and like any of them individually can bail them out, and like that's FaZe's the beauty of FaZe, that at any point any one of them could bail them out.
Yes.
In a match, and it saved them over and over countless rounds, and it's saved them over and over and over. So it's like an S&D, they're gonna have a baseline of being at least very good, like a top 5 S&D team guaranteed all year long. You know, like then the question mark is how does the respawn? Right? No, I'm talking about OpTic. Like OpTic is they're gonna be a good S&D team. You know, it's like it's inevitable.
Yeah,
but like then can they find that consistency? I mean, I think having just a hard point, like keeping it to 2 game modes, I feel like for some reason it feels like it helps OpTic. Like streamlines the mental process and like overall what they need to work on and practice and like fine tune. And I think they're going to be in a pretty interesting spot, but hopefully we can get to a 3rd game mode before the CDL launches. And that's going to be a whole conversation here for Intelligent or Irrelevant. But yeah, long story short, I think they have a little bit more consistency and upside. I think that's what you're saying too with NYSL versus NYSL.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly it. And then OpTic has that, like they just have that strength just from the get-go almost.
Yeah, but we haven't seen that like let's clutch it up and win it all type thing from OpTic, and that's why I can't be convinced to put them in front of Toronto or FaZe.
Oh yeah, exactly, and that's also where NYSL has their strength, is that they know they can beat these teams and they really believe it, and they will prove it sometimes, but it's always tooth and nail. It feels like
right. So I think this is where we kind of finished off here. So I guess the final debate is: do we feel like Ultra, OpTic, and we can go tiers now? Is FaZe in a tier of their own, or is the top 4 in the same tier?
Man, now see that's a good question too. I don't know if FaZe right now is in their own tier.
I don't think FaZe is in their own tier. I mean, again,
as of right now,
Ultra, like I haven't seen any Ultra scrims at all, so I have no idea. Like just the eye testing of it. I have no eye test for Vanguard Ultra.
You almost want to put all 4 up in the same tier.
Yeah, I mean, like Sodomy wants to put FaZe in their own like tier and then go tier 2 OpTic, Ultra OpTic, NYSL.
That could work too, honestly.
I don't know. I mean, man, this is gonna be weird. I don't know if NYSL we can put in a tier 1.
Wow.
Like by themselves, you're saying?
Well, not by themselves for sure.
No, but he means like in tier 1 with FaZe.
Like if we have like FaZe Ultra, sorry. Like I think FaZe Ultra we could put in a tier. Even throwing OpTic in there, I'm okay with it. Even though I think it's a little like we're deciding that a little early. Maybe OpTic should be tier 2 still.
It's tiers is tough right now because it's just like we don't have enough data to fully convince ourselves either way. So take all of our tiers with a grain of salt here because
yeah. But I do think OpTic has the upper hand on NYSL right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, where would you, Sam, what would you do with the tiers? Because I think I just put them all in the same tier right now. And then I would do LA Thieves, Rokkr, LAG in their own tier. And then I would do Ravens, Mutineers in their own tier, probably. Thoughts?
I think you need to do, personally, I think it needs to be, the 4 need to be in the same tier. FaZe, Ultra, OpTic, New York. Just with the beginning of the game.
Right. We have big tiers at the beginning of the game here, you know?
And then I think
Thieves,
Rokkr,
LAG
in their own tier. And then I think you need
the rest. Would you put the rest in the next tier, or would you have Mutineers, Surge, or Ravens and Mutineers in their own tier, and then, or maybe Mutineers, Ravens, and Surge in their own tier, and then Paris gets his own tier?
That's what I would do.
I almost have Paris and Surge in the same tier as of right now.
I don't. I don't.
They're just
I want them separate.
Again, there's just too much volatility with Surge right now.
Man, in my head, I think Surge and Ravens, again, the narratives are just so similar. Like, I'd rather have them in the same tier. I think maybe just put Paris.
I think Raven should be in a tier away from Surge, though.
See, that's what I think too.
But Raven shouldn't be in like LA Thieves, Rokkr, LAG tier.
I think it
should be them in Florida.
In their own tier?
Yeah. That's what I think.
Rex, you can be the tiebreaker here.
I mean, whatever the higher one is.
So you want Surge in Ravens tier with Mutineers?
Yeah. I think.
Okay.
Hey,
and then Paris is in their own tier with Team 12.
So then you're really down on Paris then, below Surge.
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
Okay. Fair enough.
It's close. Again, these is with a grain of salt. This is what it looks like right now, chat or YouTube, all you out there.
All y'all.
So right now, I guess listing it off here for you guys, we have FaZe at 1, Ultra at 2, OpTic at 3, NYSL at 4, and then that's tier 1. Tier 2 is LA Thieves at 5, Rokkr at 6, LAG at 7. That's tier 2.
Here's the thing. I just and I think I don't think New York should be in tier 1.
That's so surprising because I feel like they've been playing really well and like they've been playing
good. Well, but like I feel like they're in a similar tier as like
Thieves,
yeah. Like tier 2, I think like.
But then isn't OpTic close enough to NYSL? That's why I said there's 7 contenders.
But that's why I was also saying OpTic I think is a little preconceived to put them in tier 1 also. But I can see them competing at that level.
But do we have enough data to say that OpTic isn't in Ultra's tier? You know,
I don't have enough data to put Paris at last either. But.
Yeah, I agree. It's tough. So again, grain of salt rankings. Let's just leave it at that, I guess. But like,
yeah,
NYSL could be in tier 2. LA Thieves, you could have a tier 1 of 7 teams. You could just have tier 1 be 1 through 7. Like it's crazy. So there it is, guys.
FaZe is in tier 1. 100%. Other teams could be in tier 2.
I wouldn't have a problem with putting FaZe in their own tier. I mean, realistically, yeah, that would be the thing. So, all right, we'll stick with that for now. It's a rough rankings, but that's kind of how it goes with this first power rankings of the year. We'll do another one here in a few weeks when we get, hopefully we get some sort of kickoff event or we get more scrims and we can watch more with them and see what happens. So there it is, boys. Yeah. Let's get into intelligent or irrelevant and see what's going on.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
Alrighty, Sam. What do we got going on this week? What's up? Intelligent or irrelevant?
So we all know there's been some struggles getting stuff going here in the old CDL. So there is no third game mode.
What? There's no third game mode?
Is insane. So
impossible.
So here's I'm going to call this poll inspired by Adam Apicella. Because if you ever follow Adam Apicella.
Adam won. He got inducted into the Esports Lifelong Achievement Award.
Yeah.
Big shouts, Adam Apicella, bro.
Oh, for sure.
Huge, literal GOAT.
The GOAT. But I don't know if like a lot of people like followed him or whatnot, but like Adam is actually a huge proponent of just hardpoint and S&D. Like if you ever hear his tweets, he's like he thinks there should be 3 hardpoints and 2 S&Ds. So
which is what we got right now.
the poll is with the ambiguity being in the air regarding the third competitive game mode, would 3 hardpoints and 2 S&Ds be the best route to go? Like from here on out, just go for it. Don't even consider a third game mode. And so basically this was like a two question or a two-part possible answers. Yes or no chance. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think that the COD community would be okay with 3 hardpoints?
No,
I don't even think I'd be okay with 3 hardpoints.
Really?
Well, that's a question.
Like I don't want I like the little variety.
I do too, but like
there's no jetpacks or anything, so it's like
yes, yeah, there are no jetpacks. But I'm not like I think 3 hardpoints is not the worst thing. Like I think it's actually like the most consistent game mode across all platforms, and like it's just a fun game mode to watch. Like how Buns was Dom domination.
Obviously, right.
Well, if the option is Dom, I'd rather do 3
But like that, this would save us from ever having to have another Dom experience, even if it's like a CTF.
I don't want to eliminate the chance of ever having a third game mode again. I would definitely want a good third game mode. I wouldn't want to play Dom, and I don't know if I really want to see Control play it again. So
you guys would say the majority say no chance.
Yeah, I would say it's probably 75-25. My thought would be is that, okay, I want to hear it first before we give any more opinions. I want to hear what they have to say.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and vote yes, just because that's probably not the one. But okay, so 60% say no chance.
Oh wow, that's actually less.
40% say yes. So let's hear some
I want to hear what
comments.
the community has to say.
Here we go. So this guy called That Kid, I'm the Kid, says, imagine not being able to come up with a third game mode for one of the top competitive games.
Why would you even read this?
In the world, in $1 billion company and 17 years of practice.
Oh my word,
Crazy.
I'm the Kid.
Next we have the absolute goats of goats, Gersh.
I'm the Kid.
No, not giving them not going to give them a pass and cope with the terrible comp experience.
Facts.
Not having a third game mode is literally effing inexcusable. Only reason I can really imagine is that they were banking on Patrol really hard, but now have to change because the community hates it.
That is what it was, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. And then so he has actually 2 tweets. Like, good Lord, the harrowing reality now is we're held here, backs against the wall, praying that Control is out soon and plays well. Odd chance of that, though, especially with maps pros already aren't too keen on. What's even worse is the other option, domination. So Gersh is not a fan of where they're at.
I mean, our only hope is that they release CTF and Control at the same time. Mm-hmm. And then pros can go ham scrimming both and figuring out which one plays better. That's our best hope, is that it comes out at the same time.
Let's hope that they just play well. That's my concern.
Yeah, so I'm going to try to find some altering. So here we have from IC Dow, yes, until we can find a good third game mode. I don't think we should just throw a third game mode in for the sake of having it. It should have good spawns and play smoothly, which I agree with.
100%.
Okay, fair play.
And then let's pick one more here.
I guess the thought is like, you have to compare it to how Hardpoint plays. Like, do you think Hardpoint plays great? Like, if Hardpoint plays unbelievably great and the maps are so great that you want to see 3 of them, then sure. But like, I'd rather have Tuscan if Tuscan plays great in Hardpoint or in Control or CTF.
Oh, so that's where we differ. I don't want to watch Tuscan 3 times in a row.
I'll watch Tuscan 97 times. Give me that, baby.
Tuscan, huh?
I mean, I'd rather watch Tuscan, because like, what if you play, you'd rather watch Tuscan Hardpoint than like S&D than a bad Hardpoint map, I guess. Like, if you'd rather,
I look at this from a viewing experience. I just don't want to see the same map played 3 times in a row.
But you'd rather watch the same game mode played.
No, I said I'd rather have a third game
However,
mode.
Here's a throw out there. Think of the top competitive esports titles right now. They're all the same game mode. League of Legends, Valorant, CS:GO. It's the same mode, just different maps.
Yeah,
So why
but
can't it work here?
COD's not those games, though. I mean,
But-
can you imagine if Halo
we
is
have-
only Slayers?
We have the variety
or
of,
Halo is only Oddball?
but
they're
like we have
fun,
2 game modes
but
though, like
I don't want to watch
S&D
the whole time.
and Hardpoint.
Oh, wait, Sam, what side are you actually on? I know you're arguing the devil's advocate here, but I feel like you'd rather have a third game mode.
I would, yes, I would, but like I guess I'm coming at like it wouldn't be that bad.
What if
though.
it plays
like,
terrible? No, I
I'm not
actually don't think
saying-
it'd be that bad.
It would.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it'd be that bad, but I would
If the
rather
alternate
do
option
3
is to have a really
Hardpoints.
good control. Yeah.
If the alternate option of having another game mode that plays really well, I want to have that game mode.
I agree.
I
It
hear
all
you.
comes down to how good the game modes are. If they're
Yes.
terrible, then we
Yes.
have a problem. If
Yes,
they're great, then fantastic.
Yeah,
And just no Dom, like screw Dom.
Yeah,
I don't care
I
how
will
well it
say
plays.
like
No, I agree. Yeah, Dom's just not good.
yeah, I will say like that is part of the beauty of Call of Duty is like having to be like expand your like game mode horizons where like you have to be good at a lot than just one
Right.
specific thing. So
The
I
learning
think that
curve
is
for getting
well,
good at COD
yes.
is really interesting because of how many game modes are so different.
yes.
Well, look
So,
at
yeah.
what our man Bisho Joe Desma said.
What did he say?
Can you read it?
Desma, he says, I had it right here. Oh, nah, the third game mode is what separates teams. One reason FaZe was as dominant as they were last year was because of
80%
that third
win
game
rate.
mode. Control CTF need to stay for good. PS missed you all last week. Thanks, Desma.
Thanks, Desmond.
Missed
You
you
go,
too, bro.
brother.
He really is the man.
He is.
But I think he's right.
No, I mean, I
think
agree.
that third game mode really can help establish like who's actually, I don't know, good. Like you can really tell.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, obviously FaZe had a unfathomably dominant year in a game mode. Like that, we don't see
Mhm.
that ever in any game mode, winning that percentage of rounds. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to see a good controller, good CTF. I would love to see CTF. I think this game could be really fun in CTF.
Or, as Tyler Porter, your homie Ty, says, Game 5 should be determined by a 4v4 Team Slayer on Halo Infinite. Let's see who's really
This
nice on the
podcast
sticks.
is over. Welcome,
And he also
everybody.
says, or add Oddball as a mode in COD. Would probably be awful, but imagine. Here's the thing.
It'd be awful.
I like the passion and I like what he's trying to say here. Because this might be the year to have some revolutionary concepts in COD and drastically change how we see the game.
Well, let's just hope rank plays
And maybe a
unbelievable.
game mode we've never experienced before could be interesting, could be fun.
We'll see,
Uplink.
man. We'll see. I mean, that was a good question, though, Sam. I like that one a lot.
Cool.
It was a good time. But
Perfect.
there it is, boys. What are you guys watching this week? What's going on?
I've been
I
watching Arcane on Netflix.
Oh,
I
that
have
League of
heard that's
Legends
really
series.
good.
It's pretty good. I like it.
I even heard too, like for people that don't watch League of Legends, it's still a good like viewing experience. Would you agree?
Yeah. I don't even think you really need to play or know League of Legends to appreciate the show.
Cool.
Although it's
Love that.
cool to see some of the characters like in like that you play in game also there and seeing their
Yeah.
origin stories and stuff. So like there's that aspect that's kind of cool, but you don't need it.
Nice.
that's cool.
So me and the wifey just finished Ted Lasso.
Ooh,
Oh,
great
you
show.
did.
So, yeah,
What do you
yeah.
think? Did it live up to the
Phenomenal.
hype?
It did.
Phenomenal show.
I thought it's like one of those like one of the few like feel good shows that I was like, man, this is just like a great show. Like
Mhm.
it's nothing like crazy. It's just it was executed so well. I was like, man, this
Mhm.
is so good.
I watched some
So-
YouTube videos breaking that down that had some nice clips inserted, giving
Mm-hmm.
feedback about those videos where, like, you know, he'd give he'd talk about the clip and then he'd
Yeah.
show the clip
Okay.
and then
yeah.
he'd talk about the clip
Yeah.
and then he'd show a clip and it wasn't taken down from YouTube. So very
Do you-
interesting.
Do you think
but-
that was like
It
so,
was a really
like-
good video. I think it showed a
Yeah.
really, really good value of Ted Lasso and the importance of leadership and
so like
setting
you
an
would
example.
say like in that random scenario that like that video was actually helping Ted Lasso.
It
draw
made me
people
want to
more
watch
to-
it
to-
more and
yeah,
like really
yeah.
connect with him
Yeah.
and really just get to know and
Yeah.
want to watch more Ted Lasso.
So like there would be no reason for the creators of Ted Lasso to be mad at this random content creator. probably.
No,
No.
definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely
Cool. Nice.
not. But I've been watching a lot of like entrepreneurial interviews lately. It's kind of been I just been really liking them. So I
Okay,
kind of just throw it
okay.
on and watch like CEO interviews and stuff. Been cool.
Got it.
I've been
Gotta
liking
get
them.
inspired.
Yeah, just learning, you know, and watching a lot of crypto videos
Mhm.
because that's kind of just been a thing lately. So rock and rolling.
Yeah.
But there it is, boys. That's the podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Best of 3. Things you'd love to see. Drop your comments down below on YouTube, obviously. Drop a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Support it everywhere you can. Always appreciate that. Obviously, you can follow us on Twitter. The Best of 3 pod on Twitter. And then I'm SalvationsElite. That's Bash_Bo3 Sam. Who find us right per use. It's Rex, ShadyNero. And guys, this has been the Best of 3 CoD Esports Podcast. And we'll see you next time. We out.